It's so rare to see different sides of these really prestigious and well-known figures in Hawaiian history and see them in a way that shows how they saw themselves too. You know, I think that there is an unbelievable amount of love and care that people still have for Pauahi, and I think that her memory definitely lives on in our contemporary moment. But what I think we seldom get to see are different sides of her than the sides that we already know. What I like about this story is that the objects and the manuscript make her experiences come alive in a way that I don't think we oftentimes get to see. And so I think this kind of paints her in a different light too, as somebody who is a lover of art and culture and really enjoying time away from Hawaii. So the time period that this particular trip takes place, King Kalākaua is in power, and Pauahi belonged more to the Kamehameha family and is from that lineage. And so there are known tensions between the two families at this time, things that of course don't necessarily look visible to the public eye. But you know, Pauahi at this time has taken a big step away from public life. She is enjoying her private life with her husband and taking opportunities to travel. And this is why an extended trip during the 1870s is actually possible for her. And then they kind of tacked on this Europe trip, which I think is really interesting too, because they both saw this as an opportunity to experience something that they hadn't gotten to do yet as a couple. And so this was really for pleasure and really for enjoyment. We oftentimes think of the ali'i traveling abroad or internationally for a certain mission. You know, Queen Emma, traveled for fundraising efforts for the Anglican Church. We know that King Kalākaua, not only was he very intent on being the first, royal to circumnavigate the world, but this was also largely a political trip for him as well. Pauahi herself was not necessarily a main political figure in the Hawaiian Kingdom at the time, but that didn't mean that she didn't represent Hawaii wherever she went. At this point, Charles and Pauahi had been married for over 20 years, and this was actually Pauahi's second international trip outside of Hawaii. The first was just to New England, where Charles's family is from. And so this trip to Europe was really her opportunity to see a much different side of the world than she had ever known or got to experience yet. So one of the interesting visits that I noticed that she makes during these winter months is that she actually meets with the Pope in Rome, and it spends about a day and a half kind of going around Vatican City and enjoying not only the art, but all the people that are gathered there that she feels like she should meet too. So I guess all this to say, regardless of whether it was just for pleasure or just for business, she also saw herself as being a representative of Hawaii, and I think that is very important. So one of the interesting things that we do in collections within the ethnology department here at Bishop Museum is that we oftentimes organize things by their material. One of the rooms that I particularly love has a particular section where the pieces are actually not organized by material at all, but are actually this weird amalgam of things that from the outside looking in, you're like, why are these things here together? And this is actually Pauahi's curio case still kept and preserved together. And so one of the things that we do in exhibitions is that we go across campus here and we piece together something to present to people. But this is actually one of the rare cases where things were already put together already and ready to be presented and just reinterpreted to audiences today. And so I think that it's a rare moment where we get to see Pauahi curating herself and also getting the opportunity to share that with people again. During Pauahi's adult life, she actually lived in her childhood home, which was Haleakala, which was located also here in Honolulu. And so woman's home was basically an opportunity or a space for her to host, to also bring in people or invite people to talk, to gather. And so that was kind of Pauahi's domain and a space that she actually took very seriously in curating. And so we can imagine the pieces that we have on view as being a part of her display of herself, her worldliness, her travel, and also her general interests in things that were considered international or in vogue, if you will. And I think that's a really amazing way of painting this person, not only as a Hawaiian royal who was beloved by the people here, but also a person of the world.